Good morning student. I Purnima welcome you to my class, and today we are going to do a new lesson, packing, written by Zeram K. Zeram. Now Zeram K. Zeram, children, he was a very famous writer. He has written many famous books, okay, and he was born on 2nd May 1859 and died on 14 June 1927. He was an English writer and humorist, best known for the comic traveler Three Man in a Boat in 1889. So he had written, children, very much famous for his humorous novel Three Man in a Boat in 1889. Okay, and Zeram K. Zeram is the writer of this lesson, packing. So packing is an act of putting together a group of things wrapped or tied together for easy handling or carrying by a person while moving from one place to another. In this extract from the story, this Three Man in a Boat, so this packing is also taken from his very famous novel Three Man in a Boat. And he has tried to emphasize on the interaction of packing while going on a trip somewhere. So here in this chapter, this is a humorous story in which writer is telling about the importance of packing and how the Three Man has packed, but then there were so many things lacking in that packing, and it took a lot of time to pack. So he wanted to say that people think that it is easy to pack, but it is not very easy to pack. You have to make a list, you have to make the things which will be in priorities when you will go out for several days. So he is telling you that packing is not an ordinary thing. Don't take it for granted. Now this is an extract from the story Three Man in a Boat. I already told you that this is an extract from the story Three Man in a Boat. The author and his friend George and Harry were going on a trip. Zeram offered to do the packing, the other to sit and relax. The actual intention of Zeram was only to supervise the packing, to give instruction, and not to do himself. Now children, Zeram used to think that he has become very expert in packing. So he was thinking that he would be the two of his friend, they would be packing and he would be helping in packing, and the help he would not pack himself, but he will be giving advices and instruction that how to pack the things, and he will not do it himself. The process proved to be very long and tiring. Anyhow, children, when he told this thing, there was a lot of confusion. His friend thought that he is thinking to pack. The process proved to be very long and tiring. Things were packed, once again removed. They forgot to pack. The whole exercise was very funny, haphazard, or you can say clumsy. The two friends now decide to take over. The confusion worsened, things break, got lost, were misplaced and forgotten. The pet dog Montmorency entry added fuel to fire, increasing the existing chaos. Finally, the packing was completed and they retired. The argument before sleeping was as to when they would have to get up the next morning. So children, this is about the chapter, and now I will be telling you the important points of the lesson, and we will discuss the question and answer. So, as I told you, packing, a very humorous description by Zeram K. Zeram. Before starting for a trip, one should plan and prepare oneself for it first, and it should start by packing. For proper packing of goods and articles, experience as well as knowledge both are needed. Travel light is the motto one should follow if one want to enjoy the trip of goods. For the sake of fun, we must enjoy by reading this account of packing performed by the three gentlemen. It is an extract from, as I told you earlier, also three men in a boat. The other two adventure accounts recommended for reading are three men in a bummel. Again, this is written by Zeram K. Zeram, and Riding the Ranges by Bill Atkin. So now I will be telling you about the important points of the lesson. Okay, so I've already discussed what does the writer want to convey to you, and now the important points of the lesson. Beginning the packing. So the author offered to pack the good himself alone. George and Harris approved of it. Okay, so they were supposed to go, three of the friends, they were supposed to go somewhere, and children George and Harris approved of it when the writer himself told that he wants to pack the things. In fact, he wanted to say that he would like to pack the things. In fact, he wanted to say that he would like to, they will pack, and he would like to help them and guide them how to pack the things. At this, author felt George and Harris approved of it. At this, author felt surprised. He hoped that they should have just said a word of formal courtesy. As they did, the author felt irritated. Now, children, the author thought that they will said, no, you sit, we will help you in packing, because they were quite young. But nothing such sort of thing has happened. In fact, they approved of it. And at this, author felt surprised. He hoped that they should have just said a word of formal courtesy. As they did, the author felt irritated. He begins packing. They looked at him with wide eyes, yawned, and rested on the sofa. When he had strapped, Harris reminded him of the boots and smiled. And when he packed each and everything, then suddenly Harris told that whether he has packed the boots or not, which would be a very important thing for the journey. And then he smiled, because writer was after packing, after giving a lot of time, when it was time to rest. At this moment, Harris told that whether you have kept your shoes or not, you've kept your boots or not. And he smiled. Unwillingly, the author unpacked all the things from the bag and placed the boots in. George laughed when the author packed it, and children, George started laughing. Not only Harris, but George also started laughing that he had forgotten to keep the boot, to place the boot in the bag. He remembered, then suddenly George laughed and the author packed it. He remembered this truth breath. He was not certain whether he had put it or not. He felt miserable. Again, he had to take all of the things. On thorough search, he found the toothbrush were lying in one of the boots. Again, he had to repack once more. Now, second point, packing by George and Harris. Packing by George and Harris. Now George asked the author if the soup was in. The author replied angrily, I care a pig if it was in or not. He strapped it. George and Harry offered to pack now. Arthur sat aside quietly. They started packing. At first, in the beginning of the packing, they broke a cup. Then Harris packed the strawberry jam on the top of the tomatoes. As a result, all of the tomatoes got squashed. At last, they had to take out the tomato with a teaspoon. Now it is George's turn to pack. So now it is George's turn to pack. Um, it was George's turn. He trampled the butter. The author remained quiet. They felt irritated, nervous, and excited. In embarrassment, they packed the pies at the bottom and put the heavy thing on it. Pies were also spoiled. They upset salt over everything. Now, search for butter. Now, my next point is search for butter. As he searched for butter, George removed it from his slip. As for the butter, George removed it from his slipper, tried to put it in the kettle but failed. After scraping it, they placed it on a chair. Harry sat on it. It stuck to his hips. They began to search in the whole room but failed. They circled round the room again and again, blaming each other with arguments. At last, George saw it. They got it off and put it in the teapot. And children, troubled by dog. So, troubled by dog. Monty was the pet dog. He always got it in the way. He was present where he was not wanted. He threw away things up and down. He spoiled the article with his damp nose. He put his leg into jam, thinking lemons as rats. He killed, that means 3 of them, that means he spoiled all the lemons. All the 3 were spoiled. The packing was complete at 12:50. Harry sat on the big hamper. He did not care if anything was broken or not. Due to shortage of bed, Harry slept with the author and George that night. So children, this is all about the story, and you can see that it is not easy to pack the things. We have to think which thing should be kept first. Like they have kept tomatoes and then they have kept the bottle of jam. As a result, the whole thing was spoiled. So children, this is not an easy job to pack. So children, today we are going to discuss that actual question and then some important question from the sample paper. So discuss in pair with answer each question below in a short paragraph, 30 to 40 words. How many characters are there in the narrative? Name them. Okay, so children, don't forget the dog, it is written here. So there are 4 characters. First is writer Zeram himself, then George, afterward Harris, and then finally their dog, pet dog, Montmorency. What was the author doing? Okay, so the author was, what was the author doing? The author was doing nothing. He was rather watching the work of packing. Write the opposites of damp. The opposite of damp is dry. Okay. Now again there's a paragraph, passage 10, and the question is, when was the packing finished? So the packing was finished at 12:50. Where was Harry sitting and what did he say? He was sitting on the hamper and said that nothing would be found broken. After packing, what did they do? All went upstairs to have a sleep. Trace a word that means thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness means a reflection. Okay. So why did the narrator Zeram volunteer to do the packing? The narrator Zeram wanted to volunteer himself to do the packing because he knew about it more than others. It irritated the author when he was at work and while the others sat idle. How did George and Harris react to this? Did Jerem like their reaction? When the author offered himself to do the packing work, George and Harris accepted his suggestion readily. George put on a pipe and spread himself over the easy chair. Harris spread his leg on the table and lit a cigar. Zeram did not like this. What was Zeram's real intention when he offered to pack? Zeram's real intention was to boss the work of packing. On the other side, Harris and George would do some unimportant things under his direction. So the author often pushed them aside and to do the work by himself. What did Harris say after the bag was shut and strapped? Why do you think he waited till then to ask? Jerem was doing packing. He finished it and sat on it and strapped it. Immediately, Harris asked him if he was not going to put the boots in. The author had forgotten them. It was just like Harris. The author said that such thing always troubled him. What horrible idea occurred to Jerem a little later? Jerem was going to close the packing when a horrible idea occurred to him. He was doubtful if he had packed his toothbrush or not. His toothbrush always troubled the author. Where did Jerem finally find the toothbrush? After a thorough search, Jerem had to unpack everything. Then he ran upstairs for it. In the last second, he carried it to the railway. He carried it to the railway station. He wrapped up in his pocket handkerchief, but he had to search, and it was found inside a boot. Why did Jerem have to reopen the packing bag? Jerem had to reopen the packed bag to see if he had kept the soap inside the bag. He thought that he had packed his tobacco pouch in it, so he had to reopen it. Why did George and Harry offer to pack and why? George and Harry offered to pack the hamper as it had been left. They started the packing, but with baking a cup. They did do to make the author interested. While packing the hamper, George and Harris do a number of foolish and funny things. Take the statement that are true. So I think this we can all do by themselves. I've already explained it. Now my next question is, what does Zeram say was Montmorency's ambition in life? What do you think of Montmorency and why? So Montmorency was a dog. It used to be its desire to get in the way when somebody was doing some important task. It could rest when it was scolded. It was a perfect nuisance and could react wherever he was not particularly wanted. It would trouble people and throw things over his head. If these acts were not complete, the dog would think that his day was used properly. It would spread the things so that somebody should stumble over and curse it. Now, of the three, Zeram, George, and Harris, what do you think is the best or worst packer? There are three packers in this story. First is the author himself, then George, and then Harris. Among them, Zeram is the best packer and he is the most experienced in packing. He has a better knowledge how to order the things and avoid possible loss. In the beginning, Zeram says, I rather pride myself on packing. I feel I know more about than any other person here. As far as George and Harris are concerned, both are the worst packer. It seems they are careless and they are careless and they, it seems, have a very less experience in packing. They strapped the bag and forgot to put in one thing or the other while packing. Harris packed the strawberry jam at the top of the tomato. As a result, all the tomato got squashed. The tomato was crushed under its weight. The cup was also broken. They often strapped the bag and forgot to put in one or the other thing. In this way, they spoiled everything while Zeram was a better packer. How did Montmorency contribute to the packing? Montmorency, the dog, contributed a lot towards the process of packing. His day was waste if he did not disturb the work and poked his nose. He would upset everything and was a perfect nuisance. He would make a people mad unless he was scolded. During the packing, he came and sat down on the thing meant for packing. He thought lemons to be rat. He got into the hamper and spoiled 3 lemons by thinking that they are rats. He put his leg into the jam. So children, you can see how he was disturbing our brothers. Now, do you find this story funny? The last question. Yes, this story is really very funny and contains many humorous details in it. One can note that the author is much troubled about his toothbrush. He feels that he has not packed it and often this happens to him. So he unpacks everything and gets it upstairs and carries to the railway station. He finds it in his boot. He takes it out and repacks it. While packing, George trod on the butter and it stick on his slipper. They tried to put it in the kettle, but it would not go in. It was scrapped and Harris sat on it while they went on looking for it all over the room. During the packing, they put things behind them and then could not find them when they wanted them. They packed the pies at the bottom and put heavy things on the top. Consequently, the pies were smashed. Thus, the story presents a good series of humorous incidents from time to time again. So children, we have done the question answer of this lesson. And what is the message? The message is, children, whatever we should not take packing for granted. It is the most important things when we go out. We should take only the important thing. The more lighter the weight, the more we will enjoy the length. Okay, the more less will be the weight of the luggage, the more we will enjoy. And children, we have to make the list of the things, like the important things like medicine, soap, okay, toothbrush, because toothbrush, it is very difficult if you are traveling in a train or a plane. It is very difficult. You will not going to get the toothbrush there. and this is the very first thing we need in the morning. Similarly, medicines, children's medicines are such a things that we should keep it. Some eatable things and dry things, okay, not the wet things like jam. If it is packed, then it's okay, okay, but when we should keep the dry things, okay, like biscuits and all that things, wafers, okay. So with this I complete my lesson. We will do the important question from the sample paper in my next video. Thank you and have a nice day ahead. Bye bye.